It's good morning, Andrew Matthews. Thanks for joining us at Yellow Shelf.
It's my pleasure to be here, Johanna. Thank you.
Awesome. Congrats. Your book Bouncing Back is out. What do we need to know about your newest book?
Bouncing Back is my 12th book. Bouncing Back is about how we rebound from disappointment and disaster, in that there are things that resilient people do that we can do too. And we're probably all bouncing back from something. We're bouncing back from maybe spending too much or eating too much, or bouncing back from missing out on a promotion that we thought was ours, or we're bouncing back from sometimes from losing a loved one or from a health crisis. So I wanted to have a look at what it is that resilient people do. It's not magic that some people always manage to rebound and yet others don't. And my books are very simple, simple language. I illustrate my
Yeah.
books with my own cartoons.
Yeah.
And so in bouncing back, I look at things that resilient people do. For example, we look at how resilient people seem to accept bad luck or misfortune or serious mistakes and move on.
Yes.
Sometimes when bad things happen, we might have the idea that, well, if I don't accept this, I won't be stuck with it. You
Yeah.
know, my fiance dumped me, but I refuse to accept it. But
Yeah.
acceptance is what allows us to move on. So acceptance is power. So that is one thing that we can learn from resilient people. Resilient people, when they're overwhelmed, they say, hang on, now I'm going to live my life one day at a time, and I will do my best until bedtime. And when tomorrow comes, whatever happens tomorrow, I'll deal with it. So that's another thing that I expand on. And a third thing is we need to have a picture of a better life. For our life to get better, we need to see it in our minds. Everything begins as an idea in our mind. Confidence
Yes.
begins as a thought. More money in the bank begins as a thought in our mind. A better job, a job that we love, begins as an idea where we say, hey, maybe I could be working somewhere else with a boss that appreciates me. And so those are three things of seven that I cover:
Yeah.
acceptance, living life one day at a time, and having a picture of a better life.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned there's seven because, reflecting on, I guess when reading your book and I was thinking about, yeah, like my characteristics, it's really beneficial to go through the seven. Andrew, I need to kind of not skim over this. You have sold more than 8 million books. As you said, you've got 12 books out. You illustrate, super talented. I would love to know what inspired you to particularly write Bouncing Back. And tell us a bit about your journey. I'd love to know about your background. I know you're a global speaker, you're a global coach. So tell us about you.
At age 25, I made a shocking discovery, Joe. I discovered that the happiest people I knew had bigger problems than me. Suddenly, I had no excuse.
Yeah.
But I grew up believing that when my life got easier, I would be happier. And yet I saw these people around me who maybe they'd just come through cancer, or maybe they'd gone broke, or maybe they'd even lost a child, uh, parents who lost a child. Or I came across a family whose house had burned down.
Yeah.
They were the happiest family I ever met. I thought, how is it that people who have been seriously challenged seem to find more joy and more meaning in their life than than me and some other people I know? And of course, I came to realize that it's not what happens to us, but it's how we think about what happens to us.
Oh,
That led me to try to figure that out. So I read about 200 books on uh, happiness, the subconscious, attitude, goal setting, and some of them were pretty interesting. A lot of them were fairly boring. I thought, well, I'm a cartoonist. maybe I can write a book that's more entertaining than a lot of these books I've read. And so I wrote this book, Being Happy,
Yeah.
and I sent it to publishers, and they all said, "Well, you're not a psychologist, and how come there's cartoons in it?" And so no one was that impressed. But the 18th publisher that saw Being Happy said, "We like it."
Yeah.
They, this was a tiny publisher in Singapore. I think their previous publication was the Vanuatu telephone directory. So I thought, that's nonfiction. So they took it and they sold 3 million copies of Being Happy.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and it turns out that people like simple language.
Yes.
They like books with cartoons. And Being Happy, like Bouncing Back, is about giving people hope that
Yeah.
with some minor adjustments, we can make major improvements to our life and our happiness.
Yeah, and look, what I love is that idea that, your book's basically about feeling better or performing better. Yeah, it's definitely inspiring in that way. Well, certainly what I took away. Andrew, tell us, how do we connect with you? You have a fabulous website. If we want to know, it sort of goes through all your old books as well as bouncing back. How do you want us to connect with you? And
Oh,
yeah, where do
yes.
we find you?
Please connect with me. I do a newsletter every 2 weeks. It's about 70 words plus
Yes.
a cartoon. And if you get too happy, you can unsubscribe at any time. Um, and so you can find that. You can sign up for that at my website, andrewmatthews.com, all one word, two T's in Matthews.
Yeah.
All of my books are on Amazon in ebook and in hard copy. Bouncing Back and Follow Your Heart are both available also as audio books with an Australian accent, which happens to be mine. Um, and I would love, and you will see my videos on YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram and TikTok and so on. So I would love for you to connect with me.
Great. Andrew, I'll put that in the show notes to make it easy for anyone to connect with you no matter where they are in the world. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us for the first time at Yellow Shelf. I'm going to be cheeky and ask, are there more books? Will I get you to come back?
I wrote a book called Being a Happy Teenager in 2001. And as we all know, the teenage landscape has changed a whole lot in the last
Ah,
23,
yes.
4 years. I've just updated that. So we're about to launch Being a Happy Teen um, version 2025. And
Awesome.
that will deal with a lot of, really tough issues like gaming and bullying and
Yeah.
texting and sexting and drugs
Yes.
and also dealing with social media
Yeah.
and being a happy teenager.
Yeah. Well, hey, I definitely need to get you back for that one because my kids are going to hit teenage years next year. So please come back when that book's ready. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us today. All the best.
Thank you. I would love to come back.
Cheers.